welcome. My name is Lisa, and this is our Watson Farmstead. Today I would like to go through how the name came about and how the farmstead happened, and go into the birth story of Watson. So if you bear with me and grab yourself a drink and pull up a seat, we'll get started. So Sarah is Watson's mom, my daughter. Went in for her 35-week checkup, and her blood pressure was elevated. The doctor ordered bed rest and labs for Sarah alone, and a stress test for Watson. The next morning, while she was at the stress test, the BP was very manageable and normal until the new doctor walked in and went over the lab work with her. He confirmed that she had preeclampsia, and since then, the blood pressure hasn't been the same. They got admitted and was induced on Monday night, which didn't have Watson until Thursday morning. She couldn't dilate beyond a 3 centimeter for the 3 days that she was being induced. So Watson started to decline. So immediately, of course, they went in for emergency C-section. She got to hear his scream and then even louder silence. They bagged him, giving him assistance to breathe. He was 35 weeks, so it was suggested he was going to have a hard time with his lungs. Both his lungs ended up with a pneumonia thorax. A pneumonia thorax is when the air gets inside the chest cavity and creates pressure against the lung, causing it to collapse partially or fully. He required 2 chest tubes to fix the problem and an ambulance ride to the nearest NICU. He stayed there a whole week before they realized he was in kidney failure. No one knew why or how. We were told he was going to be airlifted to Children's of Alabama in Birmingham, a 3-hour drive one way. There he would be able to get further treatment for his kidney failure and get more answers. As soon as he landed on the helipad, the team in Birmingham went straight to work. Sarah was called by the nurse and then passed around to every doctor and practitioner to give authorization over the phone for surgeries, medications, treatments, and everything else that he needed. So he went straight into surgery to get a hemodialysis catheter placed with, as well as a couple central lines. The next day, he had his first dialysis treatment. He stayed intubated the rest of December until he removed the tube himself the first week of the new year. His first month, several things happened pretty quickly. When he went to the first NICU, they blew one of his IVs, and he got a pretty bad chemical burn, but it was internal and didn't start showing symptoms of that for about 3 weeks after. He had to have surgery on his hand to remove the necrosis, in his tissue. Turns out it was much worse than anyone thought. At one point, he had 0 tissue as far down as his tendons and ligaments. His little hand looked like something you'd see in a body's museum. He had several surgeries to clean it and repair it. He finally ended up with skin graft. Skin used from his hip was used on his hand. It healed pretty incredibly. Everyone was impressed. Random nurses and doctors would come by his room to check it out because they had never seen something like that before. We also found out the reason for his kidney failure, a PUV, or posterior urethral valve. PUV is a membrane of the urethra that blocks or partially blocks the flow of urine from the bladder. It's caused by a normal fetal tissue developed and occurs in about 1 in every 8,000 male births. The urine couldn't drain, so it backed up into his kidneys until they just drowned. And thankfully, he was born before the unspeakable happened. At this point, it was clear that what his prognosis was: dialysis until he's big enough to withstand a kidney transplant. He had a big surgery on February 21st that gave him a G-tube, feeding tube. He had an inguinal hernia repaired. I know I did not say that right. Inguinal? I don't know. I'm not medical, so bear with me. Repaired, the POV repaired, as well as the peritoneal dialysis catheter placed. After that big surgery, some things moved very quickly. He got a peritoneal dialysis catheter after that, or catheter, because that was the type of dialysis that is a lot more gentle on children and offers a much better home life balance. Sarah and Dana, his father, ran his dialysis every night as he slept, so that when he wakes in the morning, he's fully, it's all full steam ahead and no limitations on his daily activities. Backing up just a little bit, Watson did remain in the hospital until he was 4 months old. Since that time, he has undergone more surgeries, treatments, and trips to see all his doctors, working toward getting him big enough to get a kidney. I told my husband that Sarah and Dana would need our help with this child. They would need as much help as they could get from everyone. So we listed our farm in Kentucky and bought this one sight unseen because it was located 1 mile from their new house. We pray all the time and welcome all prayers for Watson. As of now, the peritoneal catheter was removed and he was put back on the hemodialysis catheter because the peritoneal catheter had been leaking and got infected. And he is having seepage coming out of that spot, had seepage coming out of that spot on his stomach. He will receive hemodialysis 3 times per week, each treatment lasting around 4 hours, until the peritoneum is healed and that catheter put back in, or until he gets a kidney, whichever comes first. As of date, his treatments are only lasting 3 hours. We are still waiting for another kidney to come available. The first kidney he did not get because he was third on the list, so the first child got that kidney. The second kidney would not work for Watson, so we're waiting on a third, and hopefully this one will be his. Otherwise, Watson is a typical going on 4-year-old. He's extremely smart, but has some has some challenges of his own, or has had. He walked late, sat late, all that because of the first 4 months laying in a crib in the hospital, with tubes attached. Other than that, he is the happiest baby I've ever seen, which makes my life and problems in my life seem very petty in comparison. So that is how we came to be. We moved on this farm, and we knew right away the name of this farm was going to be our Watson Farmstead, because it is because of Watson that we are here. Please join us going forward. I will always post and keep everyone up to date as to the kidney process when we get one and the surgery, and I will keep everybody informed of that. So I hope to see you back on my channel soon. Thank you.